All right, so hi everyone. Today we're here with Vin Bayraktari,
Yo,
aka
Finn Bayraktari or Finaldi.
Vinaldi. He's a Ghent-based music composer, if I'm right.
Completely right.
With not only performances, but also DJ sets.
Yes, mainly compositions and I do mainly production, and I dabble a little in electronic music. And since a while back, I started doing also analog. Analog work. Right now, I'm mainly focused on analog gear and trying to set up live sets that lets me express in a kind of way that I want without needing to be like in live performance. In the live performance aspect, I really wanted to break free from the DAW or from the production side of things and try to do things more organically and more in real time.
Well, yeah, thanks first and foremost for coming, because you're the first and also the only artist who's going to perform a live set for this for our digital platform named Suburb.Cloud. And some honorable mentions like Vin Bayraktari on all streaming platforms. There they can check out your work. So SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever.
Yes,
indeed. And then, of course, talking about the fact that you have had some performances, we'll continue on that later on. So, are you born and raised in Ghent?
No, originally I'm from Albania. I came here when I was 11 years old. And since then I've been living, for a few years I lived in outskirts of Ghent. And since I think 12 years old, I've been staying in Ghent.
All right. Is there like a physical space that marked you musically, either in Albania or in Ghent?
Physical space, like a place that I can imagine, or how? What do you mean?
It can even be an imaginary place, but is there a place where you're thinking like, okay, this musically for me was an enlightenment or an epiphany?
I wouldn't say there was like a place specifically which inspired me to make something, but it's most of the time when I feel inspired is because of some kind of impression I get from the place where I am at that moment, or these impressions come up in my thoughts throughout my life, and it can be things that I have experienced in the past, but it can also be like things where I look forward to go to musically. So it's kind of like vague experiences which I had in Albania as well when I was growing up, but also experiences that I have here that I think accumulates and gives me an impression to work on, and to this can be also seen, and you can feel it in my music as well, I think.
All right, and that's a good bridge, because like regarding your sound productions, is there except for the inspirations you have because of the loop of memories in your mind, is there also a certain approach that you have when creating in general, whatever you do as a music composer?
Damn, that's a good question. I would like to say yes, but actually until now I haven't found the right approach to make music. So I'm still just finding my way to try new things, and to find that, like that spark when making music, and to feel inspired, like you said. But this has always been changing since the first time I started making music. I started off with hip hop music, making a lot of beats with my friends, and now I switched to like more electronic music. Now I also play more analog, but who knows what I'm gonna do later. So
yeah, because your earliest documented contribution to any musical project is from 2019, and that is then indeed like the project you were referring to, the hip-hop beats, I guess.
Yeah, I used to make music before that. Like, okay. I would say the first time I made music was when I was 12. I came because the whole summer I stayed at home when I was 12. So I had nothing to do, so I started making music on FL Studio, and I used to see clips from Tomorrowland. So you would imagine like a 12-year-old me just, wow, Tomorrowland is fucking cool. But this was my thought back then. So I started making like EDM music on my PC, the most trash you'll ever hear. But this was like first time I got into music. And from 2019, this was mainly because of also the friends I was hanging around with who also had a really big interest in music and mainly hip hop. We said like, fuck it, we're just gonna start make beats and rap. And we did that for a while, for 3 or 4 years. But now each of us is like trying to find new ways to express himself. So this is where I am now.
All right. Well, thanks for the explanation, because it shows that you're not only contributing to project as a composer, also as a lyricist, and indeed with the hip hop era, if I could call it that way. But maybe to take a step back, if people research you on the internet, they might find a project where you as well had a contribution called Verloren Horizon, which was a short film. Would you like to elaborate a bit on how that one differed from what you're going to bring us today?
So Verloren Horizon it was a short movie we made in I think 2022. We met up with a group of people from Ghent, and we went to Albania, to the capital of capital of Albania, to do like some cultural cultural exchange. And people from Albania were showing us what they were doing, and we were doing like our thing. And the idea for the film came from this kind of a feel, because the person who directed the film, Gouvin, he was also with us in Albania, and we started talking, and he had this idea for this film to give a kind of to portray the life of someone who has lived a long time in a country and then has migrated to in this case to Belgium, and who has lost feeling with the community and is struggling with finding the right place. So this was the idea, and then he recorded everything. He filmed everything, I guess, and I did the music for that. So this was mainly from the feeling I had in Albania, because we were making songs back there, and the director was also listening in like what we were doing, and together with my friend Victor, we made like this soundtrack. It was like 3 minutes, and then we expanded on that to make it like for the whole short film. So this was really cool. I really like doing that as well, and I hope I can do this in the future as well.
All right. So then, to a certain degree, identity, either cultural, social, or emotional, still shape your sound nowadays, even though if it's only vaguely.
Of course, I think so. I don't really think a lot about it, but subconsciously I know there's like this struggle that I wanna express. This probably has to do also with my background, being an immigrant and coming here. I think I am motivated by a need to be a part of the community here in Ghent, but also like at the exact time the feeling to want to escape from the mundane, from the typical things like in the city life. So like this struggle, I think it's like it comes up naturally in my music. If you listen to my songs, you can get an idea of this.
Because like some songs that you have produced are like, for example, Maankinderen, Los, in a Waas van Chaos as well. Very interesting titles. I don't know if has also a certain like origin, or if it's just like, once again, whatever you feel in the moment.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I start thinking about how I'm gonna name my songs, and I'm just, fuck it, I give up. I just choose like a random word or something that I think sounds cool. So this is how I came up with the names. I'm really bad at finding names for my songs or projects. Like if you look at my PC, I'm happy. Like I ordered everything by year, so I know, okay, I made this back then. But if I would go through it, I wouldn't know what is what. All
right. Well, then continuing a bit on the well, I guess your artist identity away from the explicit music scene. You have participated in a performance which was called Dichter, and it was also in collaboration with somebody. Would you like to elaborate a bit on it, or?
Yeah, Dichter was in Dutch it's called Dichter. If you translate it to English, it means closer. This was an idea I came up with Robin, an artist from Maastricht, who is also my girlfriend. We came up with this idea like 2 years before, like 2022, I think. And the idea originated from this instrument. It's called the theremin. And this really sparked my imagination because it's an instrument that you don't need to physically interact with it. You can work, if you get closer or if it feels your hand, which gives like some kind of magnetic vibration.
Yeah.
It reacts to that. So this was like a cool idea to work with, because then we thought, okay, what can we do with this? How can we expand this? And then we did like a similar thing with sensors and things that can feel heat, body heat. And we mapped this out in the space. And the idea was that people would come closer to these objects, and the performer, which is Robin, would then make like some kind of express something that she feels at that moment from that person being there, and this would come through by the speakers or the headgear that the people who were looking at it would see and would hear. So it was like an interactive performance based on how close is someone willing to come to you, and like these, I don't know how you call them, but like these walls that we built around us. And it was like this kind of idea, trying to see how people would react, how close they would come. If they heard certain things from the performer, how would they react to it?
So really, really immersive then.
Yeah.
Because that's also I guess the small summary is that it was an immersive performance with live installations, one-to-one interactive experience. And then it was the interesting part, blurring the line between performer and spectator, which is also getting back at your music production. Here you were working with a performer, but is this also something that you might be searching for in the future yourself within your music production and live sets?
Of course, I really want to push the boundaries of how I approach live sets and playing before a public. I really want to find new ways to do this, and I also dabbled with the idea of integrating these sensors and these setups that I made in my live performances. But for now, I'm going to keep it simple. So I'm just really focusing on the music itself, and if I see that I have more time and more money for it, I would try to expand with some kind of live interaction. But this is a really cool idea, and I really want to implement it sometime in the future.
All right. Well, I do get it, because if people would listen to your personal releases, then there is a certain versatility in like the interest, but also the sound that comes, just like you've told, from electronica, but also percussion and the necessary instrumentals. How do you actually play with these layers? Like, are you once again subconsciously looking for what sounds better for you, or are you really following a certain textured approach, looking for like always a certain sound?
I would say I hear something like when I'm listening to music in general, I hear something very vague or some detail on a song which then inspires me, and I think, oh, that sounds really cool, so I'm going to try implement this idea into my own set, and it starts from there. But this can be something really small which I build on, and then later I find a way through. I really don't know what I'm doing at that moment, but it comes like from itself, from the process of doing it. And sometimes I'm not happy with the results, but other times I'm really happy. So this is like the way I approach working with with sounds and everything.
So your sound first and foremost lives out of a feeling, and then maybe over time experimenting with space.
Yeah.
Okay. You're here for an archival session, and like we've talked about this versatility, has this musical versatility ever like been a stumbling block in preparing either a performance or a DJ set that you're like, oh my God, I don't know so much things, I don't know what I want to do?
Yeah, it was a while back. Someone, like when I was talking about what I was doing, like with analog gear and everything, a friend of mine just said like, "Why do you make it so difficult for yourself? Why can't you just keep making music on your DAW or like the simple things?" But I guess you're right. This can be something that limits you or doesn't let you do everything. But at the moment, I'm really liking those limitations. So I'm trying to work with as little as I have to see how far I can push a certain sound or a certain feeling. Otherwise, it would be overwhelming for me if I had all the choices and all the freedom to choose my own sounds and to work like on the DAW, for example. Then I feel overwhelmed. So this is the way it works for me. I don't know if this answers your question.
Yeah, it definitely answers the question. It's like just like you've told, looking at what the boundaries are, and instead of being a bit frustrated or being overwhelmed because of what it is, just accepting it, and then seeing what you can do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what kind of journey would you like to take the listeners then for your like live set today?
I don't know, mental breakdown, break your head through the wall. It's a mix. This live set I'm building right now, it's a mix of really chaotic soundscapes, also like ambient things through it. So it's wild, man. I don't know. This is how I made this live set. It was in a really short time also. So I've put together like this the most chaotic live set ever. But I don't know how people will find it.
All right. Well, then indeed, thank you for this conversation. Thank you for the extensive insights in music production, and also thank you for coming with your entire gear as one of the first live performance. We invite you to take place behind not the decks this time, but your equipment, and then I guess let's take the people on an adventure.
Let's go.
Thank you.
I can assure you I mean you no harm.
Who are you?
Who? Who is but the form following the function of what, and what I am is a man in a mask.
Well, I can see that.
Of course you can. I'm not questioning your powers of observation. I'm merely remarking upon the paradox of asking a masked man who he is.
Oh, right.
But on this most auspicious of nights, permit me then, in lieu of the more commonplace sobriquet, to suggest the character of this dramatis persona. Voila! In view, a humble vaudevillian veteran, cast vicariously as both victim and villain by the vicissitudes of fate. This visage, no mere veneer of vanity, is a vestige of the vox populi, now vacant, vanished. However, this valorous visitation of a bygone vexation stands vivified, and has vowed to vanquish these venal and virulent vermin, vanguarding vice and vouchsafing the violently vicious and voracious violation of volition. The only verdict is vengeance, a vendetta, held as a votive not in vain, for the value and veracity of such shall one day vindicate the vigilant and the virtuous. Verily, this vichyssoise of verbiage veers most verbose, so let me simply add that it's my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me V.